You've tuned into Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes. Your access to success strategies and more to help you move onward and upward with your life. Listen in each week as she interviews others who have really taken their essence to the next level and truly unpaused their life. Now here's your host, Dr. Callie Estes.
Hey everyone, welcome to the show. This is Dr. Callie Estes, and I am founder of the Addictions Academy, the Addictions Coach, and Rehab Rescue. Welcome to Unpause Your Life. This is a great podcast where we showcase people who have done something extraordinary with their life. I welcome you, and I hope you enjoy all of our guests.
On my way, found a reason to wake up another day.
You're listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes of the Addictions Coach and the Addictions Academy. And my guest today is Mark Willingham. He is a longtime fashion industry expert and CEO of Agent, the fastest growing modeling platform in the world. As the CEO and co-founder of Agent, Mark is responsible for ensuring initiatives are aligned with the company vision, spearheading strategy, overseeing operations, and ongoing corporate performance. Prior to joining Agent, Mark was the Northern Hemisphere president of Brazilian high fashion brand Carmen Steffens. During his 11-year tenure, the brand grew from 69 Carmen Steffens stores to more than 550 stores across 18 countries. And prior to that, he was the vice president of marketing for 6 years at Hey Anita, a groundbreaking voice recognition and next-generation mobile messaging software company founded with executives from Microsoft. Mark is a frequent public speaker and has been a guest lecturer at California State University, Long Beach since 1998. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the very nice introduction.
That's the best I can do. Thanks for joining us today. So let me ask you some questions. You're in California, correct?
I am. I am in Los Angeles, and we also have an office in New York.
Okay. And you deal with models and high fashion. How did this idea for Agent come about, and what is Agent? How does it work? Let's tell our listeners a little bit about it, and then tell me how you came up with this idea.
Sure. So having been around either directly or peripherally the modeling industry for quite a long time, I realized early on that there was a lot of problems with it. And it just happened that I met up with a couple other people who thought the same thing, who were very tech-based. And we, amongst ourselves, said, we think we can change this. Now, this is before the Harvey Weinstein movement. It was about 3 years ago.
I'm just going to stop you there. We now have a movement called Harvey Weinstein. How does that even happen?
Yeah, I think movement happens because there's just some horrific things. Obviously, we all have heard these stories, and they're massively horrific. And I don't think there's anything new. I mean, I think a lot of people have come out and said, yeah, this has been going on since the dawn of entertainment. There's an imbalance in power, and that imbalance in power, along with people who are pursuing and chasing their dreams, creates a very strange dynamic. And it creates an environment that is ripe for hostility, harassment, taking advantage of others. And I think, with Harvey, the conversation came to the surface. And as bad as it was, it's great that the conversation started and that it became a focal point of conversation on TV and news programs. And I think the masses started to realize what's going on. What's very interesting is when you're talking about entertainment, most of that it became really, high focus because we were talking about high profile people. The scary thing is that the high profile people are just the tip of the iceberg. What about the hundreds of thousands of other people in entertainment who are not high profile and that no one really pays attention to, and who has their back? And modeling, quite frankly, is very closely aligned with entertainment and fashion and all of these, is probably the worst of all, just because there is such a huge number. The supply and demand is kind of out of whack. There's so many people that would love to be models. There's a huge element of prestige and fanfare and celebrity that ties to being a model. And then people think about the Giselles of the world and the high fashion models that everyone knows. And not everyone thinks about all the others that are out there trying to get there. And when we started this, we said someone's got to step in and fix this dynamic. And again, this was before Harvey. And we said the modeling industry really has, just like if you look at all the check boxes, we looked at all the major parts of the industry, almost every one of them was wrong at some level, such as, models getting paid. And I haven't really talked about what agent is. And we really went out to reimagine the modeling industry, to go out there and change the modeling industry and fix it and make it better, to empower the models, to put them back in the center of the industry that exists because of them. And they've been pushed out to the peripheral edge of their own industry. And the power has been taken away from them. It's been put into the hands of the agents and the agencies that manage them. And I say that loosely because while there's some fantastic agencies out there and some really great agents who really, really do a great job, there's also a lot that don't. And those are the ones that we said, well, we're going to fix this dynamic. And so, when we went out there and we said, well, what are we going to do in this industry? Why does it need fixing? And the check boxes that we looked at, we just took out a whiteboard and we said, okay, payment. Models get paid 30, 60, 90, 180, sometimes longer days after a job. Now that's kind of crazy because everyone has bills to pay. And we said, well, we're going to pay them the same day. We said models there's lack of transparency in the industry. They don't really know much about the jobs that they're going to. Maybe they think they do, but when they go there, there's often surprises. Not necessarily always bad, but just, again, maybe things they didn't know about. So we said we're going to create total transparency. Like there's no job where both parties, the clients and the models, aren't fully aware of all elements of the job. Mm-hmm. And both agree to that prior to the job happening. So it's one thing to show up at a job and then someone's, drop something on you and say, hey, by the way, we're also doing a couple of swimsuit shots. And not that there's anything wrong with that. What's wrong with that is the model should know that prior to the shoot. So, and that's the most neutral of all things, but it could be pretty horrific, but where it could go. So we looked at, transparency. We looked at payment. We looked at safety in general. And we said, well, who's looking out for the model's safety? And we said, well, we're going to change that as well. And we're going to do criminal background checks and sex offender checks and ID verification and verification of need on every client who wants to book a model through agent. So we really looked at this from a standpoint of, okay, let's balance this whole thing out. And the models and the clients aren't even going to get onto the platform unless they've got a clean, background. Mm-hmm. And the model is going to know that and they're going to feel much better about their careers and the jobs that they're doing.
That's a great idea because you don't really think about that. But yeah, these models want to be famous. They want to be seen. So you have, for lack of a better term, you have this skeezy guy who's not really an agent, who's posing as an agent, who lures them into, the little rented room with the photography equipment and something goes wrong. You don't really think about that because it's like, that's sort of how the industry has always operated. And then, I end up with some of these as my clients because after that event, they get PTSD and they say, well, now what?
Oh, yeah.
How do because that's how it's done. So I just keep, going on these things. And what if it happens again? And then they start using drugs and they start taking
Absolutely.
Xanax or Oxy or some heroin to get through it because they say, well, this is the industry. And it becomes an acceptance piece.
It's crazy. It's a slippery slope. The slope goes in about 10 different directions. And you're right. You're right. And it's not always like, hey, there's a really bad actor or client, if you would, in the mix. And they're saying, hey, come to this little warehouse and there's going to be some really sleazy things going on. It doesn't need to be that extreme. It could be as simple as a model showing up to a job and the client handing them a non-disclosure and usage rights agreement for them to sign on giving up the rights to the photos. And most models are going to sign whatever's put in front of them. It's an 8-page agreement or a 3-page agreement. It's in legalese, and they're there to do the job. And if they don't sign it, they're not going to do the job. They sign it. And
Right.
It's not right. Like, you should not sign anything you don't understand. And believe me, that client had an attorney write that document. So in what world is that fair to have a model, like in real time, be asked to sign something while he or she is at the job, ready to do something so they get paid, whether, it could be just a fashion shoot. But that's not fair. And we deal with that all the time. We tell the clients, no, you can't do that.
That's almost like the Billy Joel syndrome. He signed the rights away to Piano Man and didn't know what he was signing. And now every time he plays Piano Man, he's got to pay X number of dollars to this record label from 30, 40 years ago when he signed it, because he didn't know what he was signing. Crazy. He was, a newcomer. Here, sign this. Let's do it. So how does agent change that for models? What are they doing different?
Well, for one, I think the first thing I talked about when it comes to there's the elements that we've built into our platform. So the platform works pretty simply. It's models can apply to be models on the platform. And once they apply, a committee review is done. And if they're approved and accepted onto the platform, and we have a very simple criteria. Unlike most modeling agencies, our criteria is just like one sentence. Do we believe that a company would book them as a professional model? And that's truly the criteria we use. We are about diversity. We are about inclusivity. We are against ageism. We are for a new forward-looking modeling industry that really takes into account a changing dynamic of the world. And that's what we've set out to do. So we have very broad, our base of models covers everything. And, if clients are looking for that type of diversity, they have it. Now, the clients, as I mentioned, have to apply to have access to book models on the platform as well. But the process that we go through is only one component of it, because we can't make the world safe just by applying to be on a platform, or we can't make the world of modeling safe just by doing that, because who else might be at the job that didn't apply? There's other people at the job. What if something was to go wrong? What does the model do? So education is a major component for us. So we are building a full educational component to our platform that will ensure that the models have the awareness and the insight to know how and they should act if something goes wrong. And that is very different. So, it's kind of like I always say, think about the fire drills we used to do back in elementary school, and the alarm would go off and everyone would stand up and get in line and walk out to the playground or whatever. And then the bell would ring and we'd go back into class. And they would just do this for, twice a year or every 3 months, our entire time of elementary school. But what they were doing was preparing us in the event something went wrong. And models are never given that preparation. So when something does go wrong, they're stuck by themselves normally. Maybe there's other people on the set, but they're certainly not their friends or their people they can count on. And if something is asked of them that they aren't comfortable with, what happens in their mind? This is what happens. They start thinking, is what they're asking me wrong? Maybe it's not wrong. Maybe that's what all models have to do that became big. Is it really? I mean, modeling has nudity. Modeling has a lot of these in it. That's part of fashion. Maybe this is not wrong. Maybe I'm overthinking it. And they don't have someone to ask next to them. They don't have a group of friends or someone that they can rely on. And so education is that element that allows them to quickly identify, this is wrong. I know. I've learned that, and I'm not going to do this, and they can leave. And so we encourage the models to be the ones in control and know that they're the ones in power, and they can leave anytime they want, and they are not to put up with anything that they aren't comfortable with.
Wow. So that's a game changer for the industry when it comes
to not only just safety,
but also signing contracts. So how does a model come to you? Like what do they have to do to be part of your organization? Are they vetted as well? Or is it just the back end? Like, how does that set up?
Yeah. So the models actually come in, like we actually are the fastest growing modeling platform in the world right now. We're kind of close to 30,000 models.
Oh, wow.
And I remember early on, people would ask myself and my business partners, how are you guys going to get the models? Like, that's going to be a real challenge. And we didn't think so. We thought that if we provided something that we knew that they wanted, the models would come, and they would say, hey, this is something that the industry needs and something that I need. And that's exactly what happened. So the models either find out about us through their modeling networks or through their friends or online, and they either download our app. We have an iOS app. We also are working on Android app, which should be done in the next few months. I mean, we also have a web app, so you can actually utilize our platform from this website. And so the website's Join Agent, and it's actually interesting. Join Agent, we actually had agent.com, and everyone thought, hey, that's incredible. How did you get agent? Sounds like impossible to have. And it is, but it's very generic. It's like type in soda, and what are you going to get? It's like, you're going to get, if you type in agent, you get every real estate company in the world. You get every acting, and you get every insurance company. You get everything. So we said, you know what? We're more than just a company called Agent. We're about a movement, and we're about empowerment. And so we changed it to Join Agent. Now the company is Agent, or our company's Agent, but we just go by our URL is Join Agent. And anyone going there any model going there can quickly just, sign in, create an account, and then, fill out the application, to actually see if they can be approved to be on the platform. And, again, while everyone is not approved, because, there's no reason, like we believe in everyone going after their dreams and everything, but we are a professional modeling platform. So companies come to us looking for professional models. Doesn't mean that they have to have a lot of experience. A lot of our models actually are new to the business as well, but they do, we do believe that they would be booked by a company and paid by a company to do modeling jobs. So that's the only criteria that we have for the models.
Wow. Okay. So you're open to everybody. They can apply. If they get accepted, they're on the platform. Now, do you find them jobs as well? Or is it like a connection service? How is that set up?
It kind of covers all gamut. So clients come to us to look for models, to book them for jobs. And there's two ways that the clients do that. One is that they go in and they do a job listing. Just kind of think of it like an ad. They say, hey, we're looking for models for X company to do, a fashion shoot this Saturday in New York, in Manhattan. And they list all the criteria and the details for the job. And then models who actually have a profile they set up in our platform that is aligned with what the client's looking for will see that. So not everyone sees every job, because there's no reason for them to see a job if it's not relevant for them. And quite frankly, I get it. Most people, you have to hustle if you're in one of these entertainment type industries where there's a supply demand imbalance. So the most successful people are out there hustling, and we get it, but they hustle sometimes a little too much, and they apply for jobs that are completely irrelevant to them or to their background. So we make sure that only the people that have relevancy to the job actually see it, either based on their rates, based on their modeling expertise, based on their look, based on, different criteria. Now, the other way that a client books a model on our platform is called a direct request. And a direct request works when the client actually goes through and we have these very powerful filters in our platform that they can go in and set those, and it will give them all the models that meet those criteria. And then they can find, let's say there's 3 models that they want to hire. They actually say, send a request to that model, and it will actually be specific to that model and say, hey, X company would like to hire you for this job, and it gives all the details. Now, one other dynamic that's really important here is, because I mentioned transparency earlier, is that the clients actually rate the models, but the models rate the clients. So after every job, the models get to rate the clients that they worked with. And any model that's looking to maybe accept a job or it was offered to them by a client can see how other models rated that client. And if there's anything weird. Yeah. So
that's a great idea.
It's like, let everyone, this is total transparency. And if there's anything weird or anything wrong that happened, and it goes both ways. I mean, if there was a model that was at a job that was really inexperienced, had a great look, they hired the model, but really didn't do a good job, they would actually not get a good rating either. So it's about really ensuring that there's total professionalism and that everyone adheres to the standards that we've set for it. And that's actually a big thing about what we do, because I think when you get into technology, people think, okay, it's just tech. It's just like, it doesn't matter. There's no real people behind this, but there are real people behind this. And we passionately believe in what we're doing. And we passionately believe that we can't do it if everyone doesn't act professionally. So if a model decides they just don't want to show up at a job because something else came up, there's repercussions to that. So the model in that case would actually have to pay a penalty, like a monetary penalty, and they would also get suspended from the platform.
Oh, wow.
So and they agreed to that up front. So there's nothing, it's just like, this is how it is. And we let everyone know. And if people don't like it, that's cool. Like, they don't need to be on our platform, but the platform is there to help everyone and to help ensure that the clients are thrilled and they keep coming back to hire the models. If the models are thrilled and they're doing a great job, and that the ecosystem just feeds itself and it perpetuates and everyone says, this is the place to go. And quite frankly, at the end of the day, the system works so well. In thousands of bookings that we've had, we've never had an issue, a negative or very bad issue occur with a model and a client. I think part of it is because the clients we know so much about them by the time they book a model. If they had any ill intent anywhere, they certainly wouldn't do it on our platform. There's other places they could go. And we know that. We see it all the time. Like, clients say, well, why are you asking all this information? I don't want you to do a background check on me. And we're like, well, that's cool. I mean, we don't need to. You applied. So that's all right. And then we don't do it and they don't get on. And back to your question, and then you said, how do the models get the jobs? And then another major element for how models get jobs is because this is a platform of empowerment. We also give every model a custom website, a web page, if you will. It's a custom web page that has all their information and profile, and everything that they've put into their agent profile is visible on this web page. And they can share this web page with anyone. They can put it in their social media. They can put it in their email, signature line. They can put it anywhere. And anyone who clicks on it will actually be brought to their page, and then they could click to book them. If they're not already a approved client on Agent, they'll be asked to go through the process. And if they are, they can book the model right away. So the models are able to go out there and hustle and go out there and work their trade and work really hard trying to get jobs, and know that our system and what we have is going to back them up and that we're there for them. And that's a real game changer, because, no one else has ever done that.
That's it's not only unique, it's needed, but it's so interesting that you're having agencies call you and say, okay, we want to get on the platform because we want to be connected. And as soon as you say, okay, we're going to run a background check. Oh no, we don't want to do that. It's almost like right away, this is going to be a problem. Like, this agency is probably not kosher per se. They're already doing something.
Just say that in reality, it's not agencies that are applying, it's the end clients. So we actually don't support modeling agencies themselves. We only support clients, the end user who's going to be booking the model and the models. So it would be a company, whatever company that might be. It could be a consumer goods, product goods company. It could be a fashion brand. It could be whatever company that might be, that would have a need to book models.
So for me, for example, so let's say, for example, I'm doing a photo shoot and I need a few models to stand with my t-shirts and my brand. I would set them up and I would call you and say, okay, I need 2 females and a male, this size for these shirts. This is what we're going to do. And then you would say to me, okay, fill this out. We want a background check. We want to make sure you're kosher. We want to make sure you're doing the correct thing. You're not going to switch up and all of a sudden you're doing, a swimsuit or something, not what you're not asking for, correct?
Correct. And to even simplify it further, you wouldn't even need to call us. It's all done through the platform. So you would actually, as a client, just do the same thing the models do. You go to the web page, go to joinagent.com or download the apps in the App Store and just say, when you go to register, it says you click I book models versus I am a model. So that would mean you're a client. And then you would just fill out a few quick fields of information. That's all we ask. And then we go ahead and process your application. And so it's really a straightforward, simple, it really eliminates the need for people and I guess, it all depends on the generational component here. I mean, I can tell you that clients under 35 years of age or users that work for companies that utilize our platform under 35 years of age are much more. This is right up there. They're like, why would I need to call someone? Why would I want to talk to someone? Why would I go have a coffee with an agent? I don't have time for that. I'd rather spend that time with my friends. Don't make me do things. You know how it is.
I'm laughing because we specialize in failure to launch as well. So we have the 18 to 35-year-old that just can't figure out life at all. And that's the biggest gripe. The parents go, I call them, they don't answer, but they text me 2 minutes later and say, I didn't have my phone. Instead of just calling me. And I say, well, yeah, they don't call. They want to text. They want to go online. They don't want to be bothered by having this human interaction thing going on. They just want to do it through the app. If they can't do it through the app, they're not going to use it. So that's awesome.
It's funny because there's a client of ours. He's awesome. He owns a fashion brand in New York, a young, upcoming, real, fantastic fashion designer. And we did a segment on Pix, Channel 11 in New York a few weeks back. And they were asking him what he loved about it. He said, because I don't have to go have a coffee with an agent because I want to book a model. I don't want to deal with them. I'm too busy. I just want to pick up my phone and get the business done in, a few minutes. So you're right. It's a mindset. And he's in probably, mid to late 20s. And that's just the mindset of the world moving forward. So you take into account the empowerment side of this, the forward-looking diversity, inclusiveness side of this, and the fact that you can get it all done in minutes versus weeks. And that is actually, believe it or not, is another big component.
I really like this because I deal with a lot of bands, and I deal with a lot of bands that are not connected to labels because the whole label thing, since it fell apart, there's a lot of self-produced bands, and I deal a lot with them. And their biggest question is, well, we need a merch girl, or we need to have our t-shirts, photographed professionally. And they ask me, do you know where I go? And I'm always like, well, call an agency. I would think you'd call a modeling agency. So now this is going to be great because I could say, just go on this app, fill it out, get what you need and have the person show up. And I'm assuming models show up to, stand there in t-shirts and promote a band and product and Bacardi rum and all that other stuff. So that's excellent. I'm going to be able to hand this out to them and say, here's your answer. Don't ask me.
Correct.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, we have models from, our modeling, models cover all, elements of modeling from runway, fashion photo shoots, promotional, it could be giving out samples, wearing a t-shirt, all the way through showroom and events, and it just goes on and on. So there's a lot of reasons people book models. Mm-hmm. And our platform covers all of those. What it doesn't cover is one area, which I think goes into the darker and grayer area of modeling, which is called atmosphere models. And atmosphere models are those models that are hired just to be models to be there. There's no purpose for them. They're not doing anything. They're just kind of eye candy or have drinks with people. There's a party and they want really good looking people there.
Yeah.
Or there's a nightclub and they want to have good looking people at the nightclub. Or someone's having a party on their yacht and they want to have good looking people there. we don't support those bookings. So you can't book models on our platform for that. But as long as the model has a purpose and they're doing something, promoting something, supporting something, talking about something, doing a photo shoot, whatever it might be, we're the place to get the models.
That's good. I'm glad you gave that disclaimer, because Miami is known for that, what you just said. Models that come on a yacht just to stand and look cute. And that ends up turning into prostitution 99% of the time. So it's usually...
Well, that's funny because...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, not funny at all, but you're right. Remember I said at the beginning of the conversation, you alluded to people getting anxiety and then taking drugs. Mm-hmm. And I said it's a slippery slope that goes in 8 different directions. And that's probably one of the biggest slides in the slope. And that is, models, not only in Miami, but anywhere. Go to New York and watch what happens when a top agency gets a bunch of models. And those models are the first ones to be invited to the top nightclubs in New York, to get invited in to go right through the ropes because they don't need to wait in line, because bringing those types of people into the club attracts clientele. Mm-hmm. And they could be a legitimate club. These aren't, strip clubs. They're regular, real high-end, nice nightclubs. But the slippery slope is you have a bunch of young people who think they've made it because they got signed with a big agency. And as we all know, that doesn't mean anything. That just means you got signed. You may have signed your life away, quite frankly. You don't even know it. You basically have handcuffs on now because you're relying on them to do everything for you and hoping that it works out. And then you go to that club, and this is just kind of like the story that's been rubber stamped for 20, 30, 40 years all over the place. And that's the model goes there, that they get into the VIP area because that's where they're allowed to go. There's a bunch of rich people in there, young, rich. They're saying, hey, drink with us. And hey, we're going down to Miami on my jet this weekend. You want to go? And yes. And that turns into let's try drugs to what's the difference between that and prostitution and it just goes down. And then that model's just worked through the system, and it's just not right. And that is the type of thing that we said we will provide at least awareness, and we will provide the tools for the models to know, and we will know what the clients are booking for, and we'll ensure that we have their back. And if, there may be a lot of other people that have their back, but if they don't, they'll always be able to count on us from the day they start modeling until the day they said, I'm done modeling.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys have that, because I end up working with generally the narcissistic, self-absorbed gentleman that has hired the women to come on the yacht and hang out. And he thinks there's a fine line between modeling and prostitution when there's a clearly different line. If you're hired to come and hand out drinks and wear T-shirts and what have you, you have a job function, which doesn't involve sex. But a lot of these guys think because you're cute and you're pretty and you're hired, that means you're there to provide sexual favors. So I end up with these guys who have been doing this and think it's okay. And it's your typical married guy with a ton of money running around with, too much time on his hands. But I'm glad you have this, because now you're protecting the women from this type of environment that has been accepted for so long. Because then it becomes, well, if you're not going to do what I ask of you, whatever it is, I'm not going to rehire you, and I'm going to block you from ever getting a job or, a better job or a bigger gig because you're not providing what's asked of you. And I have this power over you to do that, which becomes an imbalance of power, which isn't right.
That's right. And if these, most of the people who have that kind of money have real strong connections, and they have a great, a network of people, and they can use that power that they have to shut people down. And, at the end of the day, that's the dark, gloomy side of the business that a lot of people ignore. And I wish some of the parents who put their kids into modeling and let them off into New York when they're 16 or 17 better understood the dynamics of what they're exposing their kids to. Not everyone understands those dynamics, and some of them just fully choose to ignore them because they care more about the fame and just everything that goes along with it than they care more about the safety and the horrific side that could occur.
Right. Well, we are just about out of time. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us. How can our listeners find you? First of all, how can people who want to hire a true model who's going to come and provide, modeling services for whichever level, and how do the models find you for their safety?
Sure. So the clients go to joinagent.com, or they go to the Apple, to the App Store, and they could download our app, and it just takes literally less than 1 minute to create an account. Then if you want to apply, it probably takes, 2 minutes. So the clients, it's super easy. And one thing I want to point out to the clients too is that they actually are able to do everything knowing that we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So no one in the world does that. We give a guarantee to the clients. There's no reason to not try us. We're faster. We're more powerful. We're safer, and we provide more overall value than any other platform in the world. And on top of it, it's the right thing to do. So I challenge every client out there to give us a try. And if you're not super happy with what you've done, we've got a 100% satisfaction guarantee behind that. And we have 24/7 customer service. So we provide everything. For the models, we say, pursue your dreams, come and please apply. If you believe that you would be approved by our committee to be a professional model, do the same thing. Go to joinagent.com or download the app. It only takes a few minutes, and then we'll get back to you right away and let you know our decision. And we're here to support everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And we're going to put all that up on our page so that the models can click it directly, and they can go right through, and same thing with the agencies and the people looking to hire the models. They can do that. And then we'll put your phone number and everything for them to reach out as well.
Perfect.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming on. And you have been listening to Unpause Your Life with Dr. Callie Estes, the Addictions Coach and the Addictions Academy. Hey, everyone. Thanks again for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the show today. Head on over to iTunes and Apple Podcasts and leave a comment or review of what you think. Or contact us at 1-800-706-0318. If you want to be on our show, feel free to email or call. And if you have a topic, feel free to email or call as well.
Thanks for listening to Unpause Your Life. For show notes and more, head on over to unpauseyourlife.com.
Big shout out to recoveryinnovators.com for help producing this show. Thank you, guys.
I took a walk down the long road where they said that I shouldn't go. On my way found a reason to wake up another day. But they needed to show you all the things that you won't do. Find faith or religion, but nothing to show for it. No need to escape in love with my pain. I may be awake, but I'm alive, still alive, and I won't be bound by your mistake. No, I won't be your enemy, trapped at the gate. Bring me to life, put me to death. Just give me something that's just not so hard to believe. To believe. To believe. I took a walk down the dark road where they said that